dressing up is a sign of self-love. I just made that up, but it sounds right. Hello everyone! Welcome back. I just got back from a trip yesterday feeling fully recharged and feeling like I have enjoyed every single second of this summer. And it also put me in the mood for doing a little bit of online shopping and a little bit of research to see what autumn-winter has in store for us. So I thought today we could look at the trends that are going to be the strongest and the most present over the next few months. See what we want to adopt, see what we're not going to even consider, see what we can work with, and maybe use this information to get new pieces for my wardrobe, essentially. You guys know my style is very classic. I like very timeless silhouettes. I don't like anything too edgy or too trendy. So let's just see which trends can actually work for my style instead of me changing myself to fit into a trend. So let's start with an article from Harper's Bazaar, the top fashion trends of the fall 2021 season. It's officially time to pack up your sweats. What sweats? Trend number 1, she's a rich girl. Okay, good for her. So it basically says here that the opulent and very party looks from the 20s and the 80s are going to melt together into a sequin fest, and we're just going to see a lot of shine, a lot of glitter, and a lot of embroidery and a lot of sequins. I am completely on board. I think this is such a great way to make something fun without looking like a child. It also says that the look is not really party dresses, it's more of a cover-up in sequins, which sound really good to me. I mean, I would love to have like a very structured, maybe bolero jacket or blazer covered in sequins, especially if they are either black sequins, you know, just with a little bit of glimmer, or maybe in a gold or a green, like deep green sequin. That would be amazing. So totally on board, approve of this trend. I think this is also great, not only with sequins that are, you know, the classic round shape, but maybe even the more rectangular or in other shapes like squares. That would be really cool too, to give a little bit of movement. We saw a lot of fringe in the last couple of seasons, so it would be nice to get that same movement from sequin. Second trend they talk about is the use of bright colors, but with a little bit of a worn out look to them. So instead of going for a very bright pink, you go for a more bubblegum pink. Instead of going for a bright yellow, you go for a mustard yellow. So you do get that power of those strong hues, but with a slightly grayer touch, which I find very, very elegant, very easy to mix and match as well. Looks more grown up and easier to adapt to many situations, so you can wear them at work. It doesn't look like you're trying too hard. And these colors also go great with neutrals. If you pair them with grays, with beiges, with browns, even sometimes with black and with white, it works really well. Totally on board, check. Third trend, tailored on tailored. Come on. I'm really liking these trends. I feel like they were made for me. Tailored things like tailored coats, tailored jackets, tailored pants, even a coat over a blazer over a shirt. This is amazing. You get that very androgynous feeling with all of the structure, but at the same time you can mix and match with accessories and with other pieces. You can, for instance, have an amazing overcoat, like a trench coat or a wool coat over a blazer, over a shirt, and then have a leather pencil skirt with boots. How perfect is that? It's like this heritage little situation where the clothes are more timeless, and they seem like they are part of your wardrobe always instead of just being there because it's hype that season. I am totally on board. Also, knits are very strong this season, and not only classic knits but also knits that are a little bit more inventive and a little more creative, which I think is a great way to be creative without looking like you're trying too hard. With knits, you can just choose a very neutral color and pair it with other neutral pieces, but the knit itself can be very crazy and very flamboyant, which is great. And this year, which I think is something that happened not last year but the year before, we were talking a lot about après-ski fashion going into day-to-day life. So the classic alpine sweaters, the fluffy hats, the scarves, even a little bit of a retro 70s vibe to it, which is really, really cool, which is something I saw during summer with tennis. Now it's really cool to see ski again because it is just such a classic. It has a vintage feel that makes it a little bit more interesting, a little bit like the Royal Tenenbaums, if you will. I feel like more and more we're getting into the Wes Anderson type of aesthetic where we're not only going for classics but even a little bit eccentric. So yeah, I will be adopting this one as well. The puffer coat is also coming back. This one is a little iffy for me. I am not one to go for the huge puffer coat. Remember those that look like a duvet that we're carrying around with you, or the Moncler partnership that they did with Valentino and all the other designers. That to me is a little bit too much. I would love to get a puffer bomber, a more streamlined silhouette with a little bit of puffing, not too much. I don't want to be exaggerated, but I do feel like it gives you that air of very contemporary coolness that other fabrics don't give because it looks very technological. So I might adopt this in a very mild way. We'll see. Then they're talking about crop tops, which is something that we don't do on this channel, so they're also talking about midi skirts, which is such a great eternal piece to have in your wardrobe. This, I do not think it's seasonal at all. Maybe they're doing the midi skirt a little bit more frequently, or more designers are doing it, but honestly, a midi length skirt is just something you have to have always, and you can always wear. Be it summer, like I showed on my lookbook, be it winter. My favorite way of wearing them is with knee-high boots, which makes the silhouette very long and makes everything very elegant. Oh, this is nice. They say that the word that could describe last year was cozy, and that this year designers are continuing on this path, but not the way that we would initially think. So no sweats. Now we're talking. So basically it's just elevating the coziness. So trying to find that balance between being chic and being comfortable, which is 100% what I believe in. So they're talking about a cream colored wool jacket, a tan shearling line coat, a fuzzy hoodie, if you like that vibe. So bringing couture cuts to these designs. I love this concept. I think it is such an improvement from what we've done last year, which was just letting go. This year we can put in a little bit of effort and look our best. Oh, they're talking about patterns now. I think that this might be a way of being more optimistic and more artistic through patterns, which is such a great way of also adding personality to your wardrobe. So getting away a little bit from those very muted and safe patterns like stripes and polka dots, and maybe going the more graphic route, which is great. This is something that I would like to exercise because I feel like I'm always either on block colors or always going for the classic prints. So maybe just being a little bit more risque, being a little bit more bold in this way will also transmit a little bit more fun, personality, and all around coolness. Now, there's a trend here that I will avoid, which is back to black. I do understand the value of black clothing. I think there is nothing easier to combine. Obviously, there is nothing that looks more elegant, nothing that makes you look better, because it makes you look slimmer, makes you look more elegant instantly, because dark colors do give that impression. But I do have a trauma from black because I used to work in a store, like I said in a past video, and we had to use black. It was our uniform to wear black clothes. I feel like black for me has such a connection to that period of my life that I'm so tired of wearing black all of the time. So this winter I actually want to shy away from black and be a lot more daring with my choice of color, and maybe go for a more colorful look, like I said, muted brights, maybe prints, something that will just brighten up my wardrobe and kind of separate mentally from the time I worked at the store and where I am at now. So this one, maybe for you, would be nice to adopt a little bit more black. I am going to step away from it. Second article from Who What Wear. Let's see what they have to say about autumn winter 2021. Okay, something they talk about is cutout details. This is something that for me is not a winner. I feel like it can, one, depending on where it is cut, it's really hard to wear, because if it is around the neck, you don't know which bra to put on. If it is in your stomach, if you don't have amazing abs, it just looks floppy and weird. I'm not a big fan of cutouts. I might try something maybe on the shoulder, but don't quote me on that. Okay, there is one called Craft Club, which is basically crafty pieces, so artisanal quilting, patchwork denim, bohemian crochet. Bohemian crochet, what are you thinking? All jokes aside, not for me. You do you. Boo. This is another trend that for me is a little bit of a question mark, which are logos. Of course, over the last years, we've seen the power of logos, actually over the last century. It is a big thing, and I understand that some people really love that look, and it does transmit a certain premium aspect that maybe something neutral wouldn't. I am not a huge fan, especially of big logos, especially of logos that are very known. So I might adopt this if it was either a secondary logo that is not very diffused, or from a brand that is not very famous, so it's not very recognizable. That is the way I would approach it. Otherwise, I do feel like it can be a bit overboard for my style. Y2K. What is Y2K? Am I supposed to know this? Let's Google this. 1 second. Year 2000 problem. Oh, it's the millennium bug. Gosh. No. You know why? I think if we're going to talk about the 2000s, I grew up in the 2000s and I have done this already, so dressing like this actually makes me feel like I'm dressing as the child version of myself. I know it's fun, I know it's different and nostalgic, whatever. I'm not a fan. I will not be wearing it anytime soon. I feel like this is that point where I am old enough for younger people to look at my generation and adopt the aesthetic that actually was what I used to wear when I was their age. So it's just a little bit too depressing to me. So I feel like we've been very well served this season. No matter your style, no matter your personality, no matter your figure, you can find a trend that is going to work for you. I love that we are talking about trends again, about dressing up again, which is something that we haven't done for a while. We cannot live in our pajamas forever, so I'm really happy to see so many just pretty things. I miss pretty things like around me, and finding them in stores. I cannot see gray anymore. I cannot see like those sweatshirts and leggings. I mean, that is over. Let's accept it and dress up. So that's it. See you guys in the next one. Have a great week. And remember, dressing up is a sign of self-love. I just made that up, but it sounds right. See you guys in the next one. Bye!